I'm ready.
Alright, and welcome to Imperial Broadcast Radio with your host, Arit and
Triumph.
today we are going to welcome guys, and today we are going to do this first, not presidential, but Emperor's debate, and we are going to ask our contenders all the interesting questions and all the interesting debates. So yeah. If anyone, I think who's going first actually, since we did do a.
So, before we started the broadcast, we flipped a coin and determined that Triumph is going to give his opening statement first, and that the first question will go to Rizzola. So, Triumph, whenever you're ready.
Microphone test. 1, 2. Just want to be. You guys can hear me?
First, yep, and that the.
Okay, it's time for America. For the Americans. That means economically we try to protect American business. It means we try new players get started.
Slow down for a second, because if you talk too fast, your microphone breaks up.
It is kind of breaking on your end.
Copy.
It's breaking like crazy.
America for the Americans. Let me just.
Alright, since Trump's going to fix his microphone, and we'll wait till he come back. But
Rizzola, would you like to start?
How's this?
That's much better.
Much better.
Much better.
Okay, as I'm saying, it's time for America to be seized by the Americans. It means economically we protect American business through embargoing enemy nations, through import tax, military-wise. We get newbies going as fast as possible in the most efficient way as possible. Because what is a country besides its new players? We have so many new players who join every day, and I've seen this throughout the term. They don't even get a job in training. We need to find some way to get them active, to get them involved, and I do believe this would require working with claws a bit. But yeah.
Alright, that's a very interesting statement. So, Americans for Americans. So, there was a movement going on in America, Triumph. It was called the anime, some anime rebellion. Do you have any information about that?
Yeah, the Pride movement.
Well, let's let Rizzola talk before we start the full debate. I've got a couple questions that people have been asking already.
Alright.
Alright then.
I'm Rizzola. Basically, I'm running to continue all the great work that's already been done. So, embargoing nations and everything like that, that's something we have been doing, and I, of course, intend to keep that up. Sticking close to the allies we have already made, while not turning away allies as new enemies present themselves, which we've seen happens every other week in this game. And I also want to push for a much more active domestic involvement from the government in terms of programs and events that people can partake in, because I feel like that's a weak front right now and it's something we need to focus on. And that's all I got.
Alright, that's a very interesting statement.
I'd like to add to my opening statement, and that is...
You could add for the first question.
Okay, fine.
Okay, so since Triumph did give his statement first, that means the first question is going to go to Rizzola.
Let's go.
Rizzola, so most people know that Triumph sends a welcome PM to every new citizen at the end of the day that registered, just, introducing himself and directing them to join the Discord and everything, because the game is not very fun unless it's being played with the community. So what would you do differently to reach out to the new players that are already registering? Because like he said, a lot of players are registering and not doing anything after. They'll log in once and then that's it.
Well, first off, right when you register, you get a PM, so that's good. So of course we would tailor that to give them information that they need, which it already is sort of tailored to that with a bunch of unnecessary titles as well. Thank you, Helen. And
Unnecessary, my ass.
PMing new players as they fight has definitely been a good idea that I've seen. I don't find that sending a second PM on top of the original welcome message to be necessary unless they make it to fighting without finding their way to Discord. So I think that's definitely a good way to focus, because when we have focused sending PMs to people that fight, we get a lot of people in here very quickly. So I think that's the main thing I would focus on for getting noobs involved in the Discord and army and all that.
Okay, and just to clarify with format, I'm going to ask a question of one of the candidates or both of the candidates, and after they answer, I'm going to let the other candidate respond and have a little discussion, and if that, doesn't amount to anything, we'll move on. So, Triumph, do you have any response?
Yes, I believe that we should be focusing on getting new players into Discord. That is a fact. Because Arif, you done?
Continue your statement.
Okay, as I was saying, I believe we should be reaching out to players even if they aren't fighting, because, hell, it's a big game. It's a wide game. It's an expansive game. A lot of new players that I've spoken to, the first thing I always like to do is say, hey, you got any questions? I'm here to help. And usually, if I can get them talking, I would direct them to the tutorials I wrote. How many might remember them? But yeah.
Alright, that's a really interesting and a noble cause. So do you have any response to that, Rasula?
Yeah, I mean, again, I just want to restate, I don't find 2 PMs necessary. Of course, sending them to one's fighting is necessary. One other thing I should add that I actually plan on writing a whole article about is I think a big media presence would help too. Because if they get past the first PM, if they get past a second PM as they fight, I think the last place to catch them that would be good is in a strong media presence. And I think having a lot of programs and other things like that can help them get involved and sent to the Discord would be a great idea.
And so let me just clarify to everyone listening. When you register in vPopulous, you get a message straight from the country. So it'll say like from USA, and it's the welcome message that we pass in Congress. It's not a message that people can respond to. So it's just something that they get, and then that's it. Just to clarify.
Alright, thanks for the clarification. I think everybody would have a deep understanding in that now. Thank you. So yeah, let's talk about economics. This will go to either both candidates. But since Triumph won the toss, so what's your reforms when it comes to economics per se?
And I have a specific question after.
Oh, alright.
Economically, I believe that we should make it difficult for foreign businesses to compete. America, as I've said, America for the Americans. We need to make it so that we can free up workers for American companies by making sure that foreign companies are unable to compete in the USA, be import tax, embargo, anything that gets the job done.
So, okay, on that front, I would ask you, what would you do in addition to what we've already done? Because we have a 20% across the board import tax.
I believe it should be right.
Well, so keep in mind that if taxes are too high, it won't just make it harder for foreign businesses to compete with domestic businesses, but they'll just stop selling to us altogether because the taxes would be way too high. So that's why we decided on the 20%, because it's just high enough that it makes it so they, it's a level playing ground competing with domestic companies, but just low enough that they'll actually pay it.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, I can see what you're saying, Halloman. I can see what you're saying. But if they stop selling just, who gives a fuck, for Pete's sake? I say we should force them out of business, free up their workers for American companies and the communes. It would be a win for the communes if they had more workers. It would be a win for domestic companies if they had more workers. Call me isolationist, but that's just how I feel.
Okay, and then one last follow-up question. One last follow-up question to that would be, you talked about expanding the communes as like a jobs program for new players. Is that correct?
I've considered it by a lot, but when I have in the past advocated for something like that, I've learned a lot more since then, and I believe that the commune should actually be open to foreign workers, people who want to immigrate to the USA but have no one to vouch for them. I mentioned this in my article, but the 10-second version is we need to give people from dead countries a way to become involved in a new community, because hell, that's America. We're a melting pot of cultures. We're a melting pot of ideas, nationalities. That's how it's always been on games like this.
Okay, at Rizola, do you have anything to say about that?
About the whole melting pot thing?
About anything about, you know, his tax policy with America First, about communes?
Well, here's the thing. He went very strong on the whole, you know, let's keep the foreign companies out. I don't find that to be such a good idea. Having a tax making it hard for them to sell here, yeah, that's good. But you do want them to stay. Because if you look at the economy right now, it's not like there's a whole bunch of American company owners springing up and offering jobs. If there's a shortage of these jobs, which there was not too long ago, I believe it's rectified now, but right now maybe about a week ago, it was the case that new players could only pick one industry because there were no job offerings in the other industry. If you run low on jobs, that's what's going to happen. You're going to have new players unable to pick what they want to be in. And a lot of the time, that's the first thing new players go and do is they find a job, because that's what the tutorial tells them to do. And if there's not enough jobs because you're forcing all the foreign companies out, it doesn't mean they're just immediately going to go to the communes, especially brand new players, because they're not going to know what it is. They're just going to sign in, go to work, see they can't find a job, and leave. That's it. So I don't find that to be the best idea.
Triumph, do you have anything to say about that?
Yes, I do, actually. We should advertise the communes. We should open the communes up even more. Are you done?
I'm not saying and talking.
Yeah, I heard background.
Oh, I'll try to reduce mine, sorry.
Okay, but as I was saying, we need to open the communes, expand them, and make damn well sure that people, oh, hey, this helps us, helps the government, and it's a win for everyone all around. New players get jobs, foreign companies get kicked out. It's just a win, simply put.
Okay, I think we can move on from that point then.
All right.
This is for both candidates. I'll start with Rizola first, since Triumph just answered the last question. In Triumph's article, he kind of talks about a couple different policies where he says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And in your opening statement, you said you wanted to kind of continue what we've been doing in the last two terms. So my question to the candidates is, what is the number one thing you will do differently in office? Starting with Rizola.
All right, the number one thing, because this has changed around a bit, as you can see. Originally, it was about the communes. Now I think it might be more about the military at this point. I mean, we just found that we both want to do the economy very differently, so I think it's up to debate whether that's the biggest difference, or if the biggest difference is probably how we want to organize the military. Now, I don't know how Triumph wants to organize the military, but I already have a whole bunch of changes in current leadership planned to get eager and experienced people into the leadership. And that goes for the rest of my cabinet too. I think one of the things that I want to do that might be different to what we've done in these past 2 terms is get as many people involved as possible. That's one of the things I said in my article, was that I wanted to end my term leaving not just 1 or 2 other people in a place to run for country president on their own, but as many as possible. And so to do that, I want to introduce as many people into the government and the executive as I can. And I already have about 4 or 5 new people already lined up for that, and I'm finding more every day.
Okay, Triumph, you'll have a chance to answer with your own answer, but do you have anything you want to say to respond to him?
I believe that educating new players and that the domestic front should be priority. That's what I'd add.
Okay, and then what would you do differently? What's the number one thing you would do differently compared to the last 2 terms?
I would handle the domestic affairs differently. I would prioritize. I would work with the training corps to get newbies going. I would put out educational articles. Hell, even reprint my tutorials if I have to. I have a secretary of media lined up already, who I plan on working with immensely if elected to get articles out there. Not just articles by me, but articles by other people as well. Because one thing that I believe we should be doing is encouraging media. Hell, there's one player I know, Soulforge, who he was a new player. He wanted to write. Hell, I paid for his newspaper because I believe that we should encourage media. I mean, not directly pay for people's newspapers, no. But I do believe that we should be as nurturing, as mentoring, and as caring as possible.
Zola, do you have anything to say to that?
The whole new players focus, etc. It's not bad. It's definitely a good idea. I just don't see it as different than what we've been doing in these past 2 terms, because we've had someone in the executive doing that this whole time.
And in some cases, multiple people doing it.
Yeah, I don't think it's very different. It's something to focus on. Yeah, it sounds good, but it's not different. It's been done. We've been doing it, and I just thought it was assumed we would keep doing it.
That's interesting. All right. Does anyone have a question to ask the 2 candidates?
I haven't been getting PM since I sent out that mess ping, so I've still got a couple more questions I can throw out there.
Sweet. Please entertain the questions.
Okay, so I had a discussion with Venja the other day when we were talking about new players, and he kind of said that there's really nothing that we can do for players that just, register and then do nothing. Be it they don't get a job, they don't fight, because there are a lot of citizens that do that. So my question to you guys would be more on the recruitment side, since we've heard from both of you about retention, messaging new players. How will you keep us as the fastest growing country, not just waiting for new players from the Chrome store, but actually going out and recruiting from other games, from other communities, stuff like that? And then Triumph, you get this question first.
Okay, I would create programs, games basically, for people to recruit. Let's say you recruit 3-4 people and they stick around. You send a screenshot in proving that they have been your referral, and you would get a reward. Not a huge reward, mind you, but a little bonus to encourage people to go out there and recruit their friends from other games, other communities, because we should be as encouraging as possible towards our fellow countrymen about getting new people in the door.
And Rosola?
Well, one thing about when it comes to recruiting players from other games is it's you get into the same situation as the people that just find the game by themselves, is that they're either going to do nothing, want to do something but be clueless, or be one of the rare few that find their way onto Discord, join the army, and do all that. Well, so I agree with the whole idea of giving people rewards, and especially with the training corps having opened, I especially liked the way it's set up that you give rewards for accomplishing certain milestones, and I think something like that would work very well too, not for recruiting players, but for talking to players, whether that signed up or haven't signed up, to get into the game, get into the Discord, join the army, and become active in this meta community, because you can get as many people to join the game as you want. But if you look at it, the people that are all really active and that we can rely on the most and that put out our biggest amount of damage, that are our most useful citizens, they are all frequenting the Discord. Most of them are all in the army, and that is what I think we need to focus on getting people into.
That's actually really nice to hear that from you, Rasula. Alright, next question. This time do you want to respond then?
Yes, I do. And I believe that we should, and I'll agree, but I believe that we should work our ass off to make sure that we can get people in the door. At first, we might get a few people, but information is key here. Getting the information out there about how this game is deeper than how the mechanics make it seem to be of immense importance. That's all I have to say on that.
Okay. So there are a couple people asking how they feel about weebs, and I've got a PM about the anime revolution, so I should ask something about this. This one is for Triumph. I've talked to at least 2 people who have supported your articles and shouted them and commented on them about this, your whole, weeb platform stuff. And both of them have told me that they think that going all out with this might be a mistake, since anime and this, kawaii stuff is less accessible to a wide audience. So, like, for example, me, whereas Star Wars, everyone has seen it, and so everyone knows about it, and it's more accessible to a wider population. So what would you say to people that think that it's less accessible and it's less inclusive for the population at large?
Mic test. Hold on, I tripped over my mic. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay. As I would say to them that it's a revolution. I'm not saying fuck all the Star Wars stuff, but I am trying to show a progression of change. Society advances. And I'm just attempting with this whole quiet revolution to show an advancement of society. I'm not saying throw all the Star Wars stuff out. Hell, I don't even think we could, because the Imperial Armed Forces, I'm pretty sure you couldn't rename. But the accessibility of it all, yeah, I can see where some people would not think it to be too accessible.
Okay, but how are you going to address that? Because that was the question.
I would address it by I trying to include as many people as I can inside of the movement. Basically saying, okay, it might not be something you've seen every day, but we'll welcome you in regardless.
So it's
Okay.
So your movement is basically we need to integrate anime and weebs into the empire. Is that what, in short, right? You were trying to say?
Hey, Halloman's called it Weeb. I've never used Weeb in any of the quiet articles.
Rizola, do you have anything you want to say about that?
I find this stupid. Stupid. This was a prank to be pulled on you. I don't know how this made it to the election or why it made it to the election, but there is a reason that I didn't put any of that in my first article is because that's pretty much where it should end. This is just carrying on a strange bandwagon, and I just find this completely irrelevant to the election.
Okay. So let's do one more question before we take a commercial break, which the song that you guys are going to hear is going to be amazing, and Arif can attest to that. This question comes from Uber Overlord. He was asking how you would bring the community together and sort of get people into not just the army, but into politics, into doing mass attacks, just pulling in people, because there are still people that will shout all the time, will fight all the time, but won't show up on this Discord ever. You know, they won't show up on Discord in either the national server or the Imperial Order or Democratic Front servers. So how would you bring them in? People that have been contacted multiple times about joining the forums, which are now executive ordered to hell, and the Discord. So Rizola, you go first.
I'm trying to understand the question. Is this saying that people just aren't coming in after we message them, but they are, or is it saying that they refuse to?
No, this is saying for people like that are active, that we know are active, that fight all the time. People like Torre, people like Genocidio, and people like Bicaro who aren't on Discord.
Basically, just to revise Harleman's question so everyone can understand, two clickers. Basically, how do you reach out to the two clickers?
I feel like I probably could have just said that.
Reach out to the two clickers. Well,
so not noobs, but people who actually play and haven't been, inducted into the community.
Well, the thing about a lot of two clickers is they want to stay two clickers. So that's a problem right off the bat. Of course, the active engagement and promotion of getting people into Discord and the army and all that I've already said, all of that would be relevant here. But on top of that, if they needed, if they haven't been contacted, contact them. If they have been contacted and they just haven't seen enough to want to come into Discord and get involved in all this shit, then do you need to provide more incentive? Probably. They need to have another reason to get on board, whether it be more problems, more programs, more things like lotteries, but that are more engaged in the Discord, or like I'm planning to do, for example, a gaming night every week. So maybe some of these two clickers aren't interested in all the politics and etc. Maybe they're interested in a gaming night. You do that, you get them in, they like what they see, they stick around, and now they're available to contact. You have to find out what appeals to them and use that as incentives to get them into the Discord.
Okay, try.
Okay. To get to the two clickers, I believe information should be going to them, not spamming them, mind you, no. I mean more of, let's say they're in the army. You get notifications when orders are changed in the army. We need to make sure that they at least know where to fight. It doesn't matter if they're working in the... Well, yeah, it does. I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but we should at least get orders out where they're needed, when they are needed.
I have a follow-up.
I believe the bare essentials should be at least done, and that's all I have to say about that.
Zola, you said you wanted to say
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, so my follow-up to that is about the orders. Yeah, the orders are definitely necessary. I think they're really easy to target right now as saying I will keep them updated because we haven't updated them in a while. But the fact of the matter is we also haven't had any priority battles pop up. And we also haven't had anything other than a wasteland pop up. There hasn't been any point really that we've had to tell people where to fight because there's only been one option to fight. So yes, the orders, keep them updated. I agree 100%. But as of right now, that has been completely irrelevant, which is why this current administration has not kept them completely up to date, is because there's nothing to update it with at the moment.
I'd retort that in the orders you could also fit in information about Discord and, well, the forms are gone, but we could fit the key information inside the orders, which we should be doing.
Check your army orders. That's already there.
Good.
Yeah. Like 2 weeks ago.
All right. So I think we've got agreement there. I think now, Aretha, would be a good time to do a commercial with the song I sent you.
Sweet. I got your song from Holliman, and yeah, if there's anyone wants to play a song on the radio show, please send the link to either to Holliman or me, and we'll play it for you. So song request is now open, and the first song request is from Holliman, and that is I'm not sure whether Holliman wants me to announce the song, but you guys can guess the quality and the amazingness of this song. So I'll play it.
I can see what's happening. What? Oh, they'll fall in love, and here's the bottom line. Our trio's down to 2. Oh, the sweet caress of twilight. There's magic everywhere. And with all this romantic atmosphere, disasters in the air.
What song did you pick, Calvin?
Can you feel the love tonight?
Savage.
So many things to tell her, but how to make her see the truth about my past? Impossible. She'd turn away from me.
He's holding back, he's hiding, but what I can't decide. Why won't he be the king I know he is, the king I see inside? Can you feel the love tonight? The peace leaving the world for once in perfect harmony with all its living things. Can you feel the love tonight? You needn't look too far. Stealing through the night's uncertainties, love is where they are.
And if he falls in love tonight, it can be assumed his carefree days with us are history. In short, our pal is doomed.
That was The Lion King, Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And I hope you guys enjoyed the music. And yeah, if there's any more song requests, please send it to Holliman or send it to me. and we will be happy to play it. So we are back, guys. Oh, I didn't realize I muted my microphone. Damn it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's called The Lion King. Can you feel the love tonight? So if you want to send a song request, please send it to me or Hollyman. And we are back, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah. So we won Lion King again. So I thought it was fitting to. We're also having a debate. So like you can really feel the love tonight.
Yeah.
All right. So let's come back with an easy question for both candidates. I'm wondering what your favorite V-pop meme has been so far. I feel like all the CPs have really stepped up their meme games since Zeta has been released. So what's your favorite moment that's happened so far? Go ahead, Trevor.
Oh, I could just list them all, but I would have to say that country ball you made with the countries lacking iron, that I liked.
Okay, Rizola.
I'm gonna agree with that, but I'm specifically gonna agree when Serbia put themselves into the picture.
Yeah, no, they were good sports about that, which was nice. Okay, so everyone seems to be asking about resource regions. They keep PMing me to talk about resource regions, and I keep PMing them back, letting them know that we have all 5. So we can't really, expand on that.
I have something to say about resources.
Okay.
All right. So obviously we need our high resources, all right? There's these people from foreign lands who want to come in and take our resources. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a wall.
That's my meme.
Around our high resources.
This is my meme.
All right? We're going to keep them out. And that's all I have to say.
You can't both go Trump, okay? All right? Especially when I also am going Trump.
Hey, can't spell triumph without Trump.
All right. So there was a question about the balance of communes versus private companies. Where do you see that balance? Do you think that it's currently balanced? Do you think we need more communes? Do you think we need more or commune workers? Or do you think we need more private workers? Don't go into, we need to recruit more workers, period. Everyone, that's a real cop-out answer. With the workers we currently have, should we have more commune workers, more private workers, or keep it the same? Rizola gets this question first.
Commune workers. No question. That's just straight up. We need more commune workers because, as you see, without the commune... Okay, so if you had it one way or another, which one would produce more damage, result in more organization, more cooperation, and just a more efficient military? The commune system, easily. Private sector, important, yes, but everyone, all the 2 clickers that don't come into the communes, that's where they go. Sure, let them stay there. We need more for the communes, because it will work way more in our favor.
Triumph?
Okay, I actually agree with Rizola about the balance between private and commune workers. I would also add that we should use the communes as a way to influence who's taking land or who's taking manufacturing jobs as well. We might not have a lot of success with that since the communes only pay enough to buy Q1 food, but it's damn well at least worth a shot.
Okay, so just to be clear, you both think we should have more commune workers and in result, fewer private workers.
Yes.
We're very active private workers, like the ones that come into Discord and join the strikes and all of that.
I'd also assert that we should get the information out there about wellness and productivity. We need to make sure that commune workers are working at the highest wellness they can. That way they produce more, and we get more bang for our proverbial buck.
Okay. So if you guys listen closely, you can hear Venja's teeth grinding back and forth from all the way back in Australia.
Wow.
Come on. You know I respect you, buddy.
Alright, I have a question for you both.
Your voice sounds familiar, Theodore.
Oh yeah, I know.
Very familiar.
But we'll get to that later. Anyway, with the commune system and all, and its proven efficiency, I want to know if you guys have plans to actually hand out high quality weapons, whatever, and how that investment plan will be done in the future, or in the near future, or if you have plans for that at all.
This one's going to go to Triumph, because Rizola answered the question first last time.
Okay, I would say that we should invest in our people, but we should save our resources. Not be like, oh, this is too awesome to use, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about picking our battles. Let's say, oh, we have only like 10 Q3 weapons. And hell, Lion King gets resistance toward again. We should use those weapons for that battle, since Lion King is a hell of a region to lose. That's our fucking high iron, for Pete's sake. But
okay, go on.
You were saying, Theodore?
I was gonna say that you're kind of deflecting the question. I wasn't asking on how you wish to manage the final product. I want to know, how do you wish to invest in making the product? It's an economy question, not exactly a logistics and management one.
Hold on, I got some background noise. Hold on.
I would like to answer this question once you two are done as well, because I have an announcement to make.
My answer might be similar to yours then, Helen.
Apologies, I gotta mute my mic for a second.
Alright, then Rizzoli, I think you should go ahead and try to answer.
Alright, well, obviously, Q3 weapons are superior, so we need a way to make them, yes, that is not just Aerith working by himself in the Q3 weapon company. So, definitely, I think that there should be a section of the communers who work in the Q3 weapon company, which would be a lot easier if we get more communers, by the way. And as a result, on top of the weapons, on top of getting Q1 weapons, they would have a chance to be given. They would have a chance to be given some of their Q3 weapons they produce, as well. But it would also result in a lot more stockpiled Q3s. As we can see with Q1s, we give out the pays. We still have plenty of weapons to give out for all prio battles. The same would result for the Q3s with such a plan.
Okay, Triumph?
I think he still hasn't come back. Is he here?
No, he said he was back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Oh, alright.
Well, again. Sorry about that.
Theodore, would you like to take this?
I'm actually satisfied with Rizzola's answer. I was wondering if Triumph has anything to say.
Yes, I believe that with the Q3s and any other companies that we make for commune purposes, like I know we have the Jews company, for example, personally, I do not believe we should pay Q3 weapon workers in Q3 weapons. I believe we should pay them in Q1 weapons, actually. Because Q3 weapons are a hell of a lot harder to make than Q1s.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. because they take more wellness to make.
Exactly.
Okay, so I should probably make this announcement now. We have combined the Legion and the Imperial Guard into one army, and that's going to be kind of where we funnel our new Stormtrooper training corps members into the army.
Yeah, the Legion voted to join the U.S. military. I'll add to that.
We are also going to be making an elite unit, an elite kind of tank unit. And what I've been thinking about doing is, and I think after talking to a couple of other people, the policy we're going to do is we're going to have the members of this tank unit who, are going to have a certain requirement for strength, a certain requirement for damage, stuff like that. And they're going to work in the Q3 weapons factories. And when it comes to battles, they can be deployed to help our allies. They'll be given Q3 weapons to fight in those battles. And when it comes to the weekly supply drop, we will give them an option. They can either get the 30% wage in Q1 weapons, which is what every other commuter gets now, or they can get a 15% wage in Q1 weapons, but also get a 15% wage in Q3 weapons. And so that's kind of it's something that members of the Army can work towards becoming as a member of this elite unit. So, players have incentive to come in and work and train and fight every day to become a part of this elite unit.
All right, that's actually very interesting. That's an interesting reform, Harleman, that you proposed.
I'm a very interesting person.
So, yeah. Does anyone here has to has anything to comment about that?
I was actually talking with Helen about this earlier, and talking back and forth about exactly how that should work and how that should work in terms of the weekly supply drop in weapons. And I think that's just another thing to reinforce a point I made in my announcement article for the candidacy, is that I've been working with Hellman on things like this whole time, and I am going to continue all the things we've been doing, things like this.
Trump, if you want to comment on this?
No.
Okay. So yeah, shall we go to a commercial break, because it's been more than 20 minutes before the last commercial break, and I've been getting so many song requests.
Sure.
So yeah.
Sure.
We'll be entertaining a commercial break from what's his name? I'm trying to look for his name. Oh yeah, Deeper Sleep. Sorry, Deeper Sleep. I got your song request. It is My Chemical Romance. Welcome to the Black Parade. Hope you guys enjoy it.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, son, when you grow up, would you be the savior of the broken, the beaten, and the damned? He said, will you defeat them, the demons, and all the non-believers, the plans that they have made? Because one day I'll leave you a phantom to lead you in the summer to join the Black Parade. Father, took me
that was My Chemical Romance. Welcome to the Black Parade. I hope everybody's emos got touched and everybody went to high school. And yeah, that brought interesting memories. And we're back.
I hope everybody went to high school.
So I took you back to high school.
Eric, what are you smoking? Because there is a market for it out there.
Who knows? So yeah, guys, we are back.
Alright, Arethe or Theodore, do you guys have any questions ready for them? Because if not, I'll go again.
I don't have a question per se. I have a challenge for both candidates, but I'd like to save that as the last question.
Okay.
So,
Sure. So I'd like to ask both of you about a specific policy that you guys might have in mind. For Rizola, I'd like to ask you, what specific domestic policy, what's the first thing that comes to mind that you're going to do? Like a main policy, not like an idea or something that you might want to do, just like an actual policy that you want to work towards, have people work towards, stuff like that.
In general, okay, so you mean like, speaking generally, how I mentioned retention?
Yes, and now I want you to speak not generally. More specific, you might say.
Alright, so my biggest domestic policy, I even outlined it in my retention. I think that's number one key. It's actually been talked about several times so far in this debate on all these different fronts, and I've already outlined ways to do it. Getting people involved in the people that get involved in this meta community. I have not seen many people come into this Discord, get active, get involved, and then just stop. There have been one or two, but most of the ones that make it here stay here. So mainly, I want to find ways to get people to come here. And to go over the ways I've already mentioned, I've already said, you know, obviously, continue messaging people about it. Message people that are fighting, because I think they're more likely to see it. To give incentive to people to go get their friends into Discord and get involved in the meta community. Give them little milestone rewards, kind of like the training corps does. But also, give other reasons to be here other than the game. Because a lot of people, I feel, are shy. They don't want to just hop on and meet all these people for the sake of the game. I feel if you give them more of an incentive to come on here, like a separate incentive, they'll do it. So that, into the specifics of the one thing in my domestics that I haven't actually talked about very much, is the whole gaming night that I had in mind. It's very different than every other reason we give for people to come into Discord, get involved in the meta community, so that we can, you know, retain them. The gaming night, I feel like, should be a weekly thing, where we play a game. When I was CP in the Republic, we did Cards Against Humanity, and we gave prizes. I would make an article about this in the future, stating that letting you guys pick the game, but if we can't pick one, we're going to pick this because it's the most accessible one. Obviously, we're going to give prizes, and I feel prizes are a very good incentive to get people involved and retained, in my opinion.
Okay. In Triumph, I have... What specific, either military or foreign policy program do you have? Because I know Rizzola's campaigning a lot on military and communes and stuff like that, and you're campaigning a lot on domestic stuff. So I want to hear on the other side for both of you.
Foreign affairs-wise, I believe we should make pragmatic. Hyperion, for example. Hyperion is a dead fucking alliance. It is mostly just us in Australia. I believe we should reassess our allies, not backstab, not do any crazy shit, but see where we stand in the world, where we can make friends, can cooperate with, will work with us too, mind you, and use that to boost our own military power. Because let's say we get in a fight with Serbia, for example. If we just fight them on our own, we might put up a somewhat decent fight. But there's that chance we could get our asses whooped. We need to make pragmatic alliances so that in the case we do end up in a fight with a power that could straight up kick our ass, we end up winning. Friends can be a monster on its own. Hellman, you remember the rounds. You remember how the world stacked up against Iceland.
Well, let's not say the world. Nobody really played rounds.
Still, it was Denmark, Sweden, not Iceland, Finland, and what was the other one? Norway that took on Iceland, but that's distracting from my point.
Okay. So does anyone have a last question for both of the candidates? Or we could take a question from the audience. Does anyone from the audience have a question? I'll check my YouTube chat.
I think Roosevelt wanted to end with a challenge.
Oh, okay. Roosevelt, Senator Roosevelt, please state your challenge.
Okay, so I want to give both candidates a challenge. And it is simple. This challenge will grant you my vote in the upcoming elections. So the challenge is you sing right now.
No.
Yes, they have.
No.
You pick whatever song you want and you'll have to sing.
No.
If you sing well, you get my vote. Go ahead.
Don't dance. Make him
Start.
abstain. You're going to be president, not American Idol.
Sorry.
No. I want them to sing. Go ahead.
And Senator Roosevelt will be Simon Cowell.
They're not four. Guys, they don't sing. They run the world. Girls.
Oh, I know they will run the world, but can't they do both? I mean, shouldn't a president be multitasked?
Good point. If Putin can play the piano and sing in a live audience, I'm sure these two great leaders could.
Oh, I'm sure they could. Oh, and the audience is asking for singing.
Ah, sweet.
I'm gonna executive order the show to come to an end.
Isn't it past 11?
Before you do that, I do have one more thing I want to say regarding something Triumph said.
Okay. Go ahead.
One thing Triumph said is he called our alliance not pragmatic. That's one very important thing I heard. And he said it's basically now just us and Australia. Well, the matter of the fact is Australia is one of our best allies, but to say it's just down to us and Australia, I think is a little disrespectful. If you go back to the defense of Lion King, which we only lost by 2,000, one ally in particular did twice the damage for us that Australia did. And that's Portugal. So I don't think Hyperion is an unpragmatic alliance, and I don't think we need allies that have helped us. But what might converse with this new alliance in Europe, but to just kind of say we need to go out and make pragmatic alliances like we don't even have any at the moment, excluding Australia since you mentioned them, I don't think that's fair.
Okay, hold on. I believe straight up that we should reassess our alliances. Not ditch people, but reassess. Just think of where we are, how we stand in the world. I'm not saying ditch anyone at all. If we assess our alliances and we find that the country has died, then one, we should try to recruit third players to join our country. via the immigration. And one thing I will be working on, if elected, or hell, even if I'm not, I plan on bringing this to Congress, is creating some sort of immigration pathway for players who have nowhere else to go to join our country. I originally wanted to do that with the Legion, but it didn't take off in the Legion.
So, what you're saying is, you said you want to look at our allies, see if any of them don't have any of this activity, and then recruit them to our country. Are you saying you want to poach citizens from our allies?
Oh.
The nations are dead.
Are you saying you want to poach citizens from our allies?
If the nations are dead and they're hell, especially if they're white.
Are you referring to Romania when you say this? When you say wiped?
Romania isn't wiped. We're winning.
I don't know who else he could be talking about.
I don't think anyone's been wiped yet.
Alright. So, does any of the candidates have a final say before we end the show?
I'll let Triumph go first since I asked a question.
Alright, Tram.
Now, you could call it poaching, I don't want to use, but I believe that we should open America as the country that when you have nowhere else to go, all your friends have quit, your country has gone inactive, that we should open our doors and give them a pathway. Let them prove their loyalty to our nation, and then maybe let them become citizens. That is the biggest thing that I have in mind. And even if I'm not elected president, I would still run this through Congress to try to establish an IES. That's all I have to say.
Alright, that's sweet. So Rasula, do you have anything last to say? 18.
Yeah. So everyone listening, you heard everything I have to say. You've probably read my article. You heard how I feel on every front. Retention, focusing on improving our military, increase our damage. Cooperation and activity in the metagame over a big bulk of not metagame activity. I just wanted to say, remember, one of my policies is I want, at the end of my term, should I win, for there to be as many possible people in the executive as possible. So if you want to get involved, shoot me a PM either in Discord or in game. I want to see as many of you as possible stepping forward to take part in this.
Yeah, I've already had more than a few people approach me myself.
Okay, but you both are not gonna run away from the challenge.
Alright, on the show.
I refund it.
Alright, thank you guys for watching Imperial Radio. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. As always, catch us next week, same time, same day, and same channel. This is Arit and... Oh.
And
Triumph.
I think Trump just got muted. And
Yeah, I'm here.
Me.
alright, and see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.